All right, team. 17.4, it's our repeat workout. 16.4, we have deads, wall balls, calories on the rower, and handstand push-ups. Make sure we refer back to our blog post for today for the full write-up on our warm-up, primer, and mobility, mainly focusing on hips, hamstrings, and opening up our shoulders for that overhead position. Let's go right in order, starting with the deadlifts. Breaking these up into manageable chunks is the game plan. And we have two recommendations to start as talking points. The first being a descending ladder, 10 down to 1. That is, do 10 deadlifts, take a break, 9 deadlifts, break, 8, all the way down to 1 rep, which equals 55 repetitions. Another option for us is 11 sets of 5. As a bigger take-home message, what we want to avoid here is opening up with a very aggressive first set, and then quickly being reduced to smaller sets with lengthy breaks in between. We want to pace our efforts here. In terms of a belt, this is the time to use it being in competition if and only if it feels right for you. If we're going to use a belt, we do prefer a Velcro option as it's quick to loosen up and remove from the body. Next is a performance tip for the deadlifts. With your abdominals on, we want to push our shoulders and our rib cage straight down. Now, first notice where the bar is on Dan's body as he stands here. In this position, he's actually doing the opposite. He's shrugging up. This is how we brace for a lift such as a hang power clean or a hang squat clean, being how it brings the bar higher towards our pockets. For the deadlift, however, we're looking for quite the opposite. We don't want that bar to come super high or excessively high. We're looking to stand to full extension with the shortest and most direct range of motion. Take note next how the bar moves lower as Dan compresses his shoulders down and locks down his ribcage. The small distance does compound over 55 repetitions. If you've ever seen Sam dance or deadlift, he executes this technique very, very well. It can save you effort and time. Practice this motion by standing tall above your deadlift bar and then push your shoulders straight down. Think gorilla arms nice and long. Cinch your ribcage down and brace hard with an abdominal flex and a tight Valsalva to lock in our midline. Bend over to pull the bar up and complete a few reps as practice sets. Wall balls are next. Whereas smaller sets can pay off for the deadlifts, let's be more aggressive here. Reason being, we can make a push here and recover on the first few moments of the row. Rowing at a recovery pace to start our 55 calories beats being at a dead stop and staring at that wall ball. 20-15-15 is aggressive, but it's an option if capable. So is 15, followed by 4 quick sets of 10. Those are simply suggestions, with the theme being, let's push our pace here. Again, we'll catch that breath on the first few pulls of the rower. As a performance tip, let's think about our shoulders. Knowing we have pressing to come, allow the hands to come down between throws. Notice how in the first 3 reps, Dan leaves his arms in the air between throws. This will fatigue him. His second 3 reps, he has a quick shake off of his arms. That brief, very short break on the shoulders here go a very long way, whether it be hands out to the sides, elbows down to your chest, or any combination between. Let's avoid the extended arms overhead between reps and preserve our shoulders for later. Alright, so we push the pace in the wall balls to make up ground, so it's expected to feel the Metcon here. Let's use the first 5 calories on that rower as a recovery. Smooth pace, focusing on our breathing. Once we get to 5 calories, let's pick up the pace to a manageable but challenging effort we can hold until calorie 50. At 50, back off again, back to that recovery pace, preparing for the handstand push-ups or push presses. Our mental focus here as we finish these final calories, just start. Come off the rower and just start your first set. In all reality, we don't want to open with a large set regardless, so any extra time we spend here is time lost. Coming off the rower, just start. Performance tip on the rower. We are going to be fatigued here, especially in our posterior chain, our backside. Expect this row to be challenging. Focus on sitting tall in the seat, as tall as you can be, to improve our connectivity to the rower. We want all of that power driving through our lower body to make it to the handle. Sit tall and reach in to maximize each pull. Last station is the handstand push-ups or the push presses for the 55 plus divisions. This station tends to be the separator inside this workout. Let's at first talk about the standards with the heels over the tape line And then second, performance tips. Notice how when Dan points his toes at the ceiling, his heels are on the tape. This is a no rep inside the standards as the heels need to clear. Now without changing anything aside from pointing his toes towards his shins, or back towards the ground in this case, his heels rise clearly above that line for a good rep. In each and every handstand push-up, pull your toes to your shins at the top. Let it be a constant thought as we warm up so that it happens naturally inside the workout. Next focus point is our midline. If we lose our midline during our handstand push-ups, we shorten our torso at the top, making it difficult to clear that tape. Notice how Brooke, during the announcement tonight, had a challenging time finding this. Because her glutes and abs are not fully engaged, the hyperextension that occurred shortened her body, ultimately resulting in the heels being below the line, and many no reps. At the top of each rep, squeeze your glutes. Our butt must be off the wall, with the only contact being the heels. This will lengthen out the torso, as we can't afford to have any bends or breaks in our body in order to clear that line. For a visual comparison, here's Brenda. She did this very well tonight, firing her midline and staying long so that those heels got much more easily over the line. To summarize these 2 points, remember to pull your toes to your shins at the top of each rep, and only your feet make contact with the wall when at extension. Squeeze your glutes and keep the midline on to get long and tall. Now, even with these efforts, our midline may just not be strong enough at this point in the workout to get us there. If we were still having a hard time clearing the tape line, we can get even taller in our handstand push-up position by bringing our hands a touch closer to both each other and the wall. This will feel different in comparison to how you normally do your repetitions, and it will be more challenging, but it's an option to keep in mind if we need to use this late inside the workout. Lastly, performance tips for the handstand push-ups. Maximize our kip. Cycle time is not as important here as cycle efficiency, and the more power we can get from our kip, the better. In these first few repetitions, Dan's going to cycle handstand push-ups with a fast but short kip. The cycle time may be quick, but we aren't getting as much power as we could with the knees, making it down to only about 90 degrees from the body. Watch how in this next variation, Dan balls up in the bottom. With his butt on the wall, he brings his knees all the way down to his chest and creates a much more powerful kip. Slower than the first, absolutely, but far more powerful, which can help athletes continue to move through these repetitions when the shoulders are heavily fatigued. All right, team, that is our 17.4 strategy. Looking forward to tomorrow. Let's get it.